Right day, everyone. I am Hazel Aika from Detail Ed I83A. So today, we will discuss global cities. Globalization is closely tied to specific places, especially cities. So it is a spatial phenomenon, meaning nagkakatabo siya in physical locations where people, money, and businesses come together. So cities play a major role in globalization kay nagaserve siya as hubs where foreign investment, economic opportunities, and skilled workers concentrate. So, for example, ang Paris. So, ang Paris kilala siya sa fashion and also sa ilang Eiffel Tower. While ang New York naman is kilala siya bilang major center ng stock market and international trade. So, ang globalization nagdedepend siya on global cities and at the same time, these cities shape and are shaped by globalization. So, in other words, ang cities kag globalization, they influence each other continuously. So, without cities, ang globalization hindi siya maka-function effectively and ang global cities nag-thrive siya because of their connection to global economy, trade, culture, and finance. So, ang ini nga interdependent relationship, this makes global cities critical players in the global economy and cultural exchange.
Bright day. In continuation about Miss Aiko's report, let's now move on about how global city works and what is global city. A global city, also known as a world city or alpha city, is a major city that plays key role in the global economic network. For example, Manila serves as a major hub in the Philippines, connecting local businesses and industries with international markets. Command points in the organization of the world economy. Global cities hold influences and decision-making power in the global economy. Just like, for example, like Manila. Manila hosts headquarters of multinational companies and financial institutions that influence economic policies in Southeast Asia. Key location in marketplaces for finance and specialized services. These cities are centers for banking, stock exchanges, and specialized businesses services like law and consulting. For example, we have the Makati. Makati City is the financial center of the Philippines, home to the Philippine Stock Exchange and major banks. Major sites of production including innovations. Global cities often lead in industries, manufacturing, and technological innovation. Just like Cebu. Cebu City is a major production hub with technology parks and manufacturing industries driving innovation in electronics. Globalization actually enhances the role of cities. As the world becomes more interconnected, global cities gain more importance as hubs for international trade, culture, and communication. Just like Manila's Ninoy Aquino International Airport acts as an international gateway facilitating trade and tourism growth due to globalization. All cities operate in a global system. No city is isolated. Even smaller cities are linked to larger global cities through economic, cultural, and communication networks. Davao City, although smaller, connects to Manila and other cities globally enough trade, remittances from overseas, Filipino workers, and information exchange.
Sociologist Saskia Sassin popularized the term global city in the 1990s. Her criteria for what constitutes a global city were primarily economic. In her work, she initially identified three global cities: New York, London, and Tokyo. So, before the 1990s, people used to talk about the big cities or world cities only in terms of size or important on their own country. So, there wasn't yet a clear idea that some cities were leaders in the global economy, which means they control or connected business and finance around the world. So in her criteria for a global city, so Sassin said that what makes a city global is mainly economic. So not just its size or population, so she focused on financial power, which where global money is handled, business headquarters where multinational companies make decisions, and last is advanced services like law, banking, accounting, and consulting that serve global business. Okay, Saskia Sassin identified the New York, London, and the Tokyo as the first 3 global cities because they are the centers of the world economy. All of these countries are hubs of global finance and capitalism. New York has the New York Stock Exchange, London has the Financial Times Stock Exchange, and Tokyo has a Nikkei. So these cities are important because they control global finance and trade. So New York is home to the New York Stock Exchange, which one of the biggest market for buying and selling company shares. Next is London. London has the Global Stock Exchange, a major financial center of Europe. Next is Tokyo. So Tokyo has the Nikkei, which tracks Japan's largest company and shows the strength of its economy. So these 3 cities are powerful in business and finance, making them the world's main economic hubs.
So, bright morning everyone. I am Samuel Alpiche Botcon from Bitilid IA3A, and I will continue the reporting of Group 1. So, defining global city. So, recent commentators have expanded the criteria used to determine what is global. So, the mentioned states are Los Angeles, San Francisco, Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou, the Melbourne, Australia. So first we have Los Angeles. So Los Angeles, the movie making Mecca. So Los Angeles is considered as a global city because it's center of the world's entertainment industry. So such as the Hollywood films, music, and television shows influence cultures and audience worldwide. So because of these movie making Mecca, and already ang Hollywood, ang mga artist, so dako ang iya impact not only in their states but in the whole world, because dire naka based or dire na makita naton ang most famous artist, mga famous nga movie. So dako ang ilang nga impact sa world. Next is the San Francisco. So home of the most powerful internet companies. So San Francisco is global through technology and innovation. So it is the birthplace of many leading tech companies that connect people and business around the world through the internet. So the San Francisco is known for its advanced or more progressive state in terms of technology and innovation, because they lead the economy or in the business platform sa ilang mga services, such as I have an example such as Grab, Uber, Twitch, Adobe, and many other more businesses or services or mga apps nga aton ginagamit So I have here in leading companies in San Francisco. So Uber reported a revenue of 43.97 billion in 2024. So that is in San Francisco only. So Uber, kabalo naman ta, Uber is used worldwide. So may-ari na ta di sa Philippines, may-ari sa iban. So nag-spread na gidya ang Uber. So dito pa lang sa ila, San Francisco, may sila 43.97 billion dollars. So imagine that. So dako gidya nga kwarta sa dito pa lang. How about kung i-total na nila ang the whole world? So next is the Visa reported revenue of 35.92 billion in year of 2024. So there are more apps, or there are more platform nga mga sikat dito sa San Francisco nga ginagamit sa mga iban nga mga tao, or ginagamit for their online business, for streaming, and for mga talent man, mga kanta. So dira man nila ginapangbutang. So amo na. Next is the Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou. So this based on China. So Asia naman ta, no? So these Chinese cities are global because they play major roles in international trade, investment, and finance. So they connect China's economy to the rest of the world. So because of this place in China, so dako ang ilang impact in a term of international trade, investment, and finance. So pinsara bala mag-order ta sa Shopee, di ba, halin sa China. So they import their products so in different places in the world. So dako gid ya ang ilaya nga makwa, dako ang ilang income, because they generate more products in their own, and then ginapadala nila sa ibang lugar. So amo na dako dasig ang progress or pagdako sang isa ka lugar dito sa China, because they have also their advancement in their technology. So then most of their people naga dive gid into business. So amo na nga ang China wala gid kaulihit basta sa business in terms of international trade and also investment sa mga iban nga lugar. So for the next one, Melbourne, Australia. So world most livable city. So Melbourne is recognized globally for its high quality of life, safety, education, and environment. So the Melbourne, Australia is most livable city, world's most livable city, because of their high quality of life. Not only high quality of life, but also safety. Kay siguro dito sa ila is honest mga tao, then nubo ang crime rate dito, and they have a good education. So and in their environment is hindi pa siya silinggid nga gina overpopulated bala or ginaguba ni ang mga natural resources. So it sets an example for other cities aiming to improve livability. So the Melbourne, Australia is setting example for other nations, other country, other states to improve and to be a livable city. So amo na di dala na di ang quality of life, means sa quality of life, pangabuhi dito, mga balaklon dito, mga job opportunities. So feeling ko dako tong mga job opportunities kay kay naka ano man siya, indicate man siya nga world most livable city. So meaning mabuhi kagid sini nga lugar o sa nga syudad. So safety, kabalo naman tanong, safety is the most important thing gid sa isa ka city, and education and environment. So that's all for my reporting. God bless everyone. Stay safe.
Now, let's move on to the indicator for globality. First is the economic power. Economic power largely determines which cities are global. Economic power means a city has lots of business activity, money, and jobs. It's where a big companies, bank, stock markets, and factories are located. New York, with the largest stock market, and Tokyo houses the most number of corporate headquarters. Shanghai also plays a critical role in the global economic supply chains ever since China has become the manufacturing center of the world. The simple signs of economic power are big stock exchanges, many corporate headquarters, large factories or ports, lots of shops and high consumers, and also a big middle class. Like for example, the New York. The New York have a huge stock of market and many headquarters. The Tokyo have a many top companies, and the Shanghai have a major manufacturing and port. The economic opportunities in a global city make it attractive to talents across the world. It matters because cities with economic power offer many jobs and high salaries. So, people from other places move there to work. More businesses also mean more services, like schools, hospitals, and restaurants, which makes the city more connected to the world. To measure the economic competitiveness of a city, the Economist Intelligence Unit has added other criteria like market size, purchasing power of the citizens, size of the middle class, and potential for growth. People measure it by economists look at things like GDP, number of big companies, stock market size, consumer purchasing power, size of the middle class, and growth potential. The Economist Intelligence Unit and other groups combine several of these measures to compare the different cities. The second indicator for globality is the Centers for Authority. The Washington, D.C. may not be as wealthy as New York, but it is the seat of American state power. A center of authority is a city where important political, legal, or international decisions are made. This includes the national capitals, cities with many places that host the big international organizations. The simple signs of authority are national government buildings, major courts, and headquarters for international organizations, like for example, the Washington, D.C., which is the U.S. government and policy power. It matters because decisions made in these cities affect whole countries or regions. For example, the law, the trade rules, or international agreements, which brings the diplomats, the lawyers, and media, which is caused to increase the city's global linkages and influence. It adds to global status even if a city isn't the richest. Being a political or diplomatic hub can make it global because people and organizations from many countries gather there and spread influence. The two indicators work together when economic power and centers of authority often reinforce each other's, which is, if for example, a rich, which is a business-packed city, attracts the international organizations and policymakers, and a political hub attracts the businesses that want access to decision makers.
Houses major international organizations. The headquarters of the United Nations is in New York. The United Nations, UN, is like a global government that aims to promote peace, security, and cooperation among countries. So the UN headquarters, nga nasa New York, is where representatives from different countries meet to discuss and make decisions about global issues like climate change, human rights, and conflicts. Brazil's is the home for European Union. The European Union is a group of European countries that work together to promote economic and political cooperation. So, ang Brazil's is the capital of Belgium and gina-consider ni siya as the capital of Europe because it's home to the Europeans' main institutions like the European Commission and the European Parliament. Jakarta, but also the location of the main headquarters of ASEAN. The Association of Southeast Asian Nation, mo siya ang regional organization na promote economic, social, and cultural cooperation among Southeast Asian countries. So, the ASEAN Secretariat, located in Jakarta, Indonesia, mo siya ang central hub for ASEAN's activities and decision-making. Center for Higher Learning and Culture. A city's intellectual influence is seen through the influence of its publishing industry. Cities with strong publishing industries like New York, London, and Paris are mo siyang mga home sa book publishers, authors, and literary events. So, they produce and distribute nila ang books, magazine, and other media that shape global cultures and ideas. Many of the books that people read are published in places like New York, London, and Paris. These cities are major publishing hubs producing books that are read worldwide. They have a significant impact on global literature, education, and culture. Boston is the home of the world's top university, the Harvard University. Ang Boston, Massachusetts is renowned for its academic excellence, with Harvard University being one of the world's most prestigious universities. Boston is a hub for education, research, and innovation. Los Angeles is the center of American film industry. Today, global cities become culturally diverse. Los Angeles, particularly mo siyang Hollywood, is the heart of the global film industry. It's where many movies, TV shows, and music are produced, influencing entertainment and popular culture worldwide.
Now let us discuss the challenges in the global cities. So when we say global cities, we actually imagine a fast-paced, exciting, and cosmopolitan lifestyle. So these cities are known for their modern buildings, the job opportunities, and the multicultural environment. People see global cities as places full of energy and success. So there are many places to work, shop, study, and enjoy different cultures. So this is why many people wanted to live in a major areas. However, beyond this attractive image, global cities also have their negative sides. So they can be places full of inequality, poverty, violence, and that are very visible. So many residents struggle to afford basic needs due to the rising cost of living. So in global cities, wealth is not shared equally. So some people can earn very high incomes while many families faces financial difficulties. The homelessness and crime can increase due to the limited opportunities and high expenses. Now let us discuss about the gentrification. So what is a gentrification? Gentrification is a process where poor residents are pushed out of their communities because richer people move in. So when developers invest in an area, property prices increases and low-income families can no longer afford to live in there. For example, in New York and San Francisco. So many African American communities live in an outskirts. But as these areas improve and attract wealthier residents, the cost of the housing goes up. So this forces the original residents to move farther away from their communities. So because of the higher rent and rising prices, poor families are forced to relocate far away places. So this make their daily life more difficult, especially when they rely on city jobs and transportation for their living. So gentrification happens when cities continue to attract more investment, businesses, and wealthier individuals. So as real estate prices increases, only those who can afford specifically speaking, those who have wealth can afford the high cost of the living in that area that and can stay in the city, while those poor families are or pushed away from their original communities and they are forced to find another area to live in. So that is what gentrification is.
In this juncture, we will wrap up the topics that the past reporters have discussed. So, global cities are sites and mediums of globalization. So, this means that global cities are not just places where globalization happens, but they enable it. So, these cities connect countries through economic activities, transportation, technologies, and human movement. So they serve as hubs where ideas, goods, money, and people constantly move. In short, global cities make globalization possible because they serve as bridges between nations. So the number two is they are the material representation of the phenomenon. Globalization is an abstract ideas, hindi mo siya makapitan, hindi mo man siya makita. But global cities represents globalization in a visible and physical way. When you see skyscrapers filled with multinational companies, international airports, and advanced transportation systems, and culturally diverse communities, you are seeing a globalization in action. These cities become physical symbols of global interconnectedness. The three, through them, we see the best of globalization. So, global cities highlights the positive outcomes of globalization, like technological innovation, competitive education, access to world-class goods and services, cultural diversity and global cuisines, and high-quality infrastructure. So examples of the cities are cities like Singapore, New York, Tokyo, Dubai, and London. So they showcases how globalization can improve the quality of life and create a greater opportunities. So number four, they are also places that generate tremendous wealth. Because global cities attract international businesses, investors, and skilled workers, and tourists, they become centers of economic growth. So global cities hold stock markets, financial districts, headquarters of multinational corporators, large-scale industries, creative and tech hubs. So this constant inflow of money makes the sum of the wealthiest places in the world. And the last one is they also remain sites of great inequalities where global servants serves as global entrepreneurs. So despite the wealth, global cities often have deep social divides. So this is a sharp contrast between global entrepreneurs and global servants. So when we say global entrepreneurs, they are the wealthy, investors, executive, and skilled professionals. So on contrast, the servants, they are the low-paid workers in service industries such as domestic workers, delivery, restaurant service, and maintenance. So these workers keep the city functioning but often struggle with high cost of living, limited to access to quality housing, very low wages compared to the city's wealth, and displacement due to rising of rents. So this means that global cities show the both success and the problems of globalization. That would be all. Thank you.